Okay, I'm back. Anyway, that video before, I know I'm gonna have to go out there, I guess, and redo it because I was gonna give y'all some ideas for Halloween. If, in case you don't know, um, you can have a dummy supper. Um, I guess you know what that is, where you make a supper or dinner, and you set plates for your um, loved ones that are no longer here. Um, Set plates and have a meal with them. You can, uh, of course, a lot of people have their ancestor altars up all year, but you could definitely, hi, you can definitely make a one specifically for All Hallows Eve and make it an ancestor altar. Put down, put a picture of each one that you're wanting to honor. You can put something that relates to them or something like that. You can, like, if it was your grandma, her favorite perfume, or a necklace that belonged to her, or something like that. If you have anything that actually belonged to them, like I set my daddy's guitar next to the altar, and just little things like that, and you can call on them. This is definitely one time a year that you can visit your ancestors again. Um, you can go to a crossroads depending on if you follow Hecate or not, I guess, or I guess you could do it with whatever pantheon you're in. But I know the Hecateans, we like to go to the crossroads. I do on Halloween. Um, you can set a mainly because, well, if you can't get out in the country and go to a crossroads, you can leave, like, get a plate of food or some sort of offering, um, set it on your front porch for the dead, or something like that. Um, there's all kinds of things that you can do. I like getting, handing out candy to the kids. I get Dava. I'm just trying to give some ideas to do for Halloween that are witchy, real witchy, not just dress up in a costume as a witch. But actually, and this might be something you don't know either, Godiva. This is actually coming up on the witch's New Year. October 31st is the witch's New Year's Eve, and November 1st is our New Year's Day, which is a really good time to honor Hecate too. Of course, every night is, but we may have lost Lady Blind Wolf. But yeah, this path can be really fun, exciting. Um, be prepared because it can be scary too. Um, just saying. I mean, if you've never had a spirit rub up against you or seen things, you might possibly do. You might actually see them and feel them. So, and I'll be honest with you, the very first time that happened to me, it really scared me. Of course, I was way younger, but it scared me. Still, sometimes I get a little edgy because at first when you're evoking, you're unless you put in certain words, and you have to be careful how you throw them words out in the ether because everything hears them. everything that is not in this realm hears what you say, and you're pretty much sending them an open invitation. So you have to kind of be specific in when you evoke. And I always throw in, no one else is allowed in my circle, or in my space. Um, Only the one I call on. And even calling your family, like for Halloween. Um, if you, which I don't recommend that you, uh, right off the bat. You can, but I really wish that you would do more research and become more stable on your path before you start calling in a spirit other than a god or goddess. I mean, we've been known, we go to graveyards, and you know sometimes we are looking for someone to do some work for us. um, we may go to a grave, say if we want somebody to fight for us or something like that. You may go to a soldier's grave, and you evoke that soldier, and you offer them something in return to help you. Um, if I were you, honestly, I I really want you to become more versed in being a witch before, and stronger, before you start doing anything like that. Know your herbs, know your protections, know how to banish. Because if you evoke something, you need to know how to get rid of it, especially if it's not good. I mean, if you have a spirit in your house, or one follows you home that isn't, and I say follow you home because I go and I collect graveyard dirt. I use graveyard dirt in some of my spells. So if you go to this graveyard, you need to always make sure that you have respect for those um, spirits. Talk nicely to them, treat them with respect, unless they start getting tacky with you, and then set them in their place. You know, because there'll be some that'll cuss you. Well, will they ever? I don't know if it's because you woke them up or brought them back down here. I haven't ever been in the death realm. I mean, I was close. I had a I had a heart attack and I literally died, but I wasn't gone long enough. They brought me back quick enough that I didn't actually experience that world. So, I mean, who knows why they get mad? Um, or maybe they're just that way. I don't know. But when you find out if one has followed you home, and you'll probably know because things will just start going wrong, or coming up missing, or you'll hear the noises, or the smells will change, or just the feel in the air will be different. So many indications that you might have an entity in your house, or a spirit. um, that's why you need to know, if you go collect graveyard dirt, to make sure. I bring them an offering. I bring like a little glass of water or a piece of candy. Um, just something to show that I'm not being disrespectful. And I never, ever, ever take the dirt right off of the grave. Of course, and a lot of these graves, you're not going to have dirt on them anyway, unless they've just been recently buried, you know. Especially if you're going to get a soldier, you know, unless they were just buried, then there's grass is probably already grown up over it. So you don't want to be um, just say out there with a shovel digging on people's graves. I'm not saying do that. You can get like a tablespoon and go right beside the grave because the energy's there, you know. Go right beside the grave or anywhere in that graveyard that you just see a pile of dirt that isn't being used. You see what I'm saying? It's not on top of somebody's grave, um, anything like that. That to me, that is just very disrespectful because it's in the graveyard, it's dirt of the graveyard, and it's going to do the same thing. And that's a whole different story what you do with that graveyard dirt. I guess I need to do a video on that. I have to look back and see if I have one, but that's what I'm saying. That there's so much to know and learn, and it's really fun, especially at first when you first start learning all the spells and everything's exciting. But to be honest with you, as you get older, oh, that cig was good. Is that what you're doing? Is out there smoking? I'm just smoking right here. But anyway, yeah, you need to make sure that nothing follows you home from that cemetery when you after you've gotten your graveyard dirt, and especially at Halloween. Okay, because as I said, the veil is open. Um, it is so thin it might as well just be non-existent. So when you go out there and you offer that, where whatever graves are closest, say it loud enough that all of them can hear you. I mean, don't scream out in the middle of the whole graveyard. That's what I'm saying. Right in that area, just say in a regular tone of voice, I mean no harm. Um, I'm here uh, just for a few moments. I'm gonna just grab some dirt. Is that okay with you? Is that okay with y'all? And you'll just get this feeling instantly if it's not okay. Normally, they don't have a problem with it as long as you're not standing on top of their grave or you ain't got a shovel out there and digging shit up. But um, then you know you can give your offering before or after or when you're leaving. Usually, I give it while I'm like if you. I usually will take just something small. You like I said, if you take a glass of water and a piece of candy or a flower or a couple of flowers, I give one like when I go in and I'm first talking to them, I'll pour water down on their grave. Um, then I'll explain what I'm going to do. I'll do what I'm going to do, and then I'll set the piece of candy down there, and I'll say thank you. I hope I didn't disturb you. Blah blah blah. Just like you talk to a regular person that had been sleeping and you woke them up. Okay. Then you proceed to leave the graveyard, but make sure you say, no one is allowed to follow me home. Make sure you say that because once that comes out of your mouth, they are not allowed to follow you. I'm saying they're not allowed. I'm not saying there hasn't been a few times in history that they have done it. When you get to your house, the shoes that you're wearing, take them off and leave them by your front door outside. Okay? Seriously, do this. You can go back in, get some water, a glass of water, a scrubber, or a washcloth, or something, and wash the bottom of those shoes. And if you have Florida water or I don't know some of the other protection things, you can make protection water. Splash that on there because you don't want to. They can attach to anything, And I'm not saying sometimes it's a bad thing. Sometimes they just get lonely. Some of them may miss the live world or the world as we know it. And they like to just hang out. They don't bother you. They're not baneful. They just want to be among the living again. That's why you put up salt or toxin so they can get in. Yeah. You always rub Castoria powder on them beforehand. That's what I do. Oh, the shoes. You do that before you go into the graveyard? Eggshell powder. Yeah. See, I've never heard it called Castoria. See, I told you, Godiva, you learn something all the time. I've been a witch for 45 years and I've never heard it called Castoria. I just call it eggshell. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I've never done it that way, but yeah, I guess you could just some sort of um, protection. Yeah, that's a problem that a lot of people have. A lot of these graveyards are locked. Um, so far, every time I've been, there's one right down the road from my house, and so far it hasn't been locked. In fact, I didn't even see any gate on it, to be honest. There's two, they're right across the street from each other. And one of them is extremely huge. The smaller one that I go to, it may be an extension of the other one. I don't remember, but search for the C. This Google Speak isn't doing my Spanish very well. Castoria. Huh. And that's all it is eggshells? There's nothing mixed in there with it? Well, I don't know. I've never heard of that, but I usually just cleanse them off real good. Um, or sometimes I'll even mix up a solution in my spray bottle, and before I come in the house, I'll spray the bottom of them. It depends. It really depends on if it was muddy out there, or whatever, how dirty they get. If there's just like a little, if I've just been wandering around in the grass, it's not going to be that bad, but I just spray them off. But yeah, that's what I was telling Godiva. I got called to one because during a storm tree had fallen to the fence. And the part of the tree that was on the sidewalk off the property, I took some of the sticks and some of the bark. Yeah, and that would be good for energetic workings too. That would put energy in there. I would have made a wand out of that branch, or tried to, because with lightning striking it, there would be a lot of power in that branch. Huh. Castoria, I'm gonna have to remember that. I honestly didn't know that. Wow. Huh. Now I do. I just always called it. I just always called it eggshell mixture. I put rosemary in with mine. No, I add a little rosemary. It smells really good too. But yeah, this time of year especially, I really wish that I had some other witches around me. It'd be so fun just to get together. And this is our month. This is our season. This is our holiday. you know, I just have to sit here and twiddle my fingers. I mean, there may be some other witches in this town, and if there are, I don't know um, a whole lot about them. I make candles, and I had taken them up to this. We have a shop here called the Bazaar. Well, it doesn't fit its name. I mean, you'd think you go in there and there'd be all kinds of neat stuff and blah blah blah. There's really not. It's more like a little high class dollar store, if you ask me. But I took some candles up there, asked her if I could sell them in her store, and I'd give her a part of profits. So I took one of each of my candles that I make and asked her to put them up in her store. They were there about a month, and my boyfriend went in there to get them, and she pulled them out of the box underneath the cabinet counter. I don't even know that she ever had them sitting out. But her daughter was wanting to learn how to be a witch, and so anyway, I needed to make witches letters. Did I show you my witches letter I made? Yeah, I know I need to get your witches friends done. Do what? You need to get my witches friends done. What do you mean by that? I honestly wish I could just send. Do you have a special dessert you love to make for fall? Oh, I like pumpkin pies a lot. Um, there's all kinds of different things you can welcome in the fall with. And now also is the time when my goddess, Hecate, is starting to descend into the lower realm. So a lot of times, we'll sometimes at this point I'll honor Persephone. I don't usually ever work with her, but during this time of year, because as I don't know how much you know about Hecate and Persephone, but you know who Persephone is. I mean, she's well known in mythology. She is the one that Hades came up and grabbed off the earth, and she's Demeter's daughter. Um, and the whole thing about when um, that's where fall comes in the play, because Demeter's in charge of the grass growing and the trees leaving out and the flowers blooming. And when her daughter goes is to spend her time in the underworld for winter as we know it, um, that's when everything dies, because Demeter's depressed and upset because her daughter isn't there. So until Persephone comes back up into the second realm, then, or the realm that we know, then she won't do anything. Pretty much, she goes on strike. So there's where you get the season winter. And then when she can reemerges, that's when you have springtime forming. coming. And Hecate is her god when she's below. Hecate, when Persephone was first abducted, Hecate is the one that came to her and comforted her and, um, stays by her side while she's down there, protects her, and stays by her side while she's down there, protects her, and is her friend. Well, that depends on who you talk to, Godiva. I mean, that's one of them things. There could be a lot more, realms that we don't know anything about. I would say there are 3 realms. To me, there's 3. You've got your lower, your middle, and your upper. Heavens, earth, and Hades, or the underworld. It all depends on who you talk to about that. I only know of 3. I only recognize 3, I guess. Now, some people believe that there's a realm right next to you. You just can't see it. They just feel like there's realms everywhere. But I mean, who's to say? We don't know it all. That's for sure. In fact, we honestly probably know diddly squat compared to what there really is to know. Who knows? I dreamed that my father brought me 2 black small face, really blue eyes, and he's been gone 12 years. Yeah, yeah. Um, since my dad's been gone, I have actually seen him that I can remember in my dream one time. And it was the weirdest dream. Now, my grandmother, on the other hand, I've seen several times. In fact, in one of my dreams, I was standing in front of the house that she had when I was a little girl that I pretty much grew up in. And I walked in just like normal, but the inside looked a little different. It didn't look like I remembered it being as a child. And when I walked in, all my aunts were there, my great aunts, her sisters. They were all sitting around, but Daddy wasn't there. I mean, they were all, dead, gone from this earth. Um, and I remember waking up, and I felt calm and good, but then I also felt sad because, I mean, it kind of helped me to see them, but then I kind of felt sad because I didn't get to keep them or stay with them, you know. But I thought black fogs were associated with her. Hecate? Well, they could be. I honestly haven't ever seen one. Now, it depends on what if you call an apparition a fog. Are you saying dogs? You're saying dogs, huh? Yeah, they are. Black dogs are associated with her. Yes, very much. Snakes, the boar. Um, there's so many. Yeah. And it's really weird one time because I was at this club and sitting there, and all of a sudden, and I had been thinking about, I'm not a dog person, I'm more of a cat person. But all of a sudden this girl comes in the door and she's got this entire box of black Labrador puppies that she's just given away. So guess what I did? I grabbed a black Labrador puppy. And the first thought in my head was, Hecate. Yeah. And I gave him to my friend I was talking to Godiva about earlier. Well, I mean, he claims he's still mine. I mean, he's at the house I used to live at, and it's not like I won't be able to see him all the time, so or whenever I want. But yeah, I got a black dog, just appeared, and then I started seeing little snakes, really pretty snakes in my yard. And then I went out, or my boyfriend came in today and was saying that there was a dead snake out in the road right in front of the house, and I was like, this time of year? I'm like, wow. So I ran out there right quick, and it was sad to see it, but it was all smushed, but it was so pretty. It was a really pretty garden snake. It was green with a bluish tint to it, and it was actually really big, long for a garter snake. But it was really sad to see it dead, smushed. But I seen one on my front porch that my cat had gotten a hold of and was playing with one out there. And I looked at it and I had to get it away from my cat. I didn't want it killing it. But I had never seen a snake that pretty. I mean, I know I've been around snakes and studied snakes and for, most of my life. And I have never seen a snake that was that pretty. I mean, it was just beautiful, orange and black, and it had like little orange diamonds on its back, but it was black and it had purples on it. And I had never seen a snake like it. So I grabbed my cat right quick and so it could make its getaway. But the snakes started appearing around here right in front of my house. And I'm in town, which is something that you don't usually see. I mean, they're not just going to come in town like that, but that's what I was talking about earlier, Godiva. Just you'll watch for the signs, you know. You'll see them. You just have to keep your eyes open. You have to be open to them, you know. I gotta grab another Dr. Y'all give me a sec. Wow, 6 o'clock in the morning. Now here in about an hour, I'm gonna have to take pills. Yuck. And my kids used to bring them home. Yeah, they're cute little things. Pretty. Yeah, the sun will start coming up, and that's when I get sleepy. I took a nap too late last night anyway. So yeah, here's one of my candles I made. I got burning over here. Yes. I don't want to show the name on them. I mean, it's patented, but it's the name of my little company. It's not that I don't mind telling y'all. It's just if somebody else gets on here and sees it, they may try to steal my logo. So been up unpacking. Yeah. Well, I may be moving myself before too long. I don't know yet. Moving back to where it came from. Godiva back to that house, and my friend I was talking about before. This COVID thing's, really got everybody's out of work, and honestly, right here in my area, there's not a whole lot of places to work. The prison and a nursing home, which I've already worked at, so I can't do the prison thing anymore. Oh, you're finally getting to put your altar back up? So you just moved into that place and you're already having to deal with what you were talking about earlier? How horrible. Ooh, that sucks. But yeah, Godiva, that would be a good time perfect time of year just to start learning your witchcraft. Oh, in August? Yeah. You ain't got that altar set up yet? Um, I don't even know that I'm gonna have, here, and that's what I'm gonna hate most of all, I think. And I hate moving. I'm just so tired of moving. But here I have one whole room and a pretty good size room that is just my altar room. So, there'll be another room over there, but it's smaller and it's got a bed in it. And I may have, I'll probably just end up putting my altar in my bedroom. Oh, bless your heart. Stressful. Moving is stressful on somebody, by itself, much less having to deal with all that crap. Dang. And youngest kid's girlfriend. Exactly. Then send it with her. Oh, oh, okay. Well, hell. Oh my. Oh, and Godiva too. Like I said, if you'll look back on my videos, I have a lot of videos. Well, not like thousands of them, but quite a few videos up for beginning witches. In fact, that's why I started this YouTube channel, was to teach the um, brand new witches. You may, find a lot of information on there that you can use. If you have other questions, as always, just ask me. You know, I'd come on here every single night. I think I missed about 2 months before the other night. I don't know. I've been kind of a lot's been going on. I'll just put it that way. So. To do some card pulls. I couldn't even do that because I have no clue where my tarot cards were. Oh yeah. Oh, and Godiva too. While we're talking about the cards, if you can, yeah, I don't know if you have access to the internet or whatever, You can go online and I mean, there's so many different sets of tarot cards. I use the Witch's Tarot. Um, which of course just look like this, the backs of them, because they're easier for me to read. Um, there's the Rider-Waite deck. I believe it's spelled ReiderWaitte. I don't know. Rider-Waite, WAITT, something like that. That seem really interesting to me, and they're pretty good for beginners. But that tarot, I mean, it's a whole different thing, learning what each card is, because there's a lot of them. I mean, learning what each card stands for, and your cups are emotions, your swords are this, your wands are this and that, and I mean, it takes practice. And then there's oracle cards. The oracle cards are easier because it's just pretty much draw the card, and the card itself explains to you what it's about. You don't just have a picture, or something. Oh, that one's bent. How'd that get bent? You don't just have a picture. I'll describe one like this. This is what the Ten of Wands, which are emotions. No, see, I'm getting tired now. The cups are emotion. You have the Witch's Tarot, Lady Blindwell? Yeah, that's right. That's what I was telling her. The Rider-Waite for a beginner would probably be better. For some reason, the pictures are just more self-explanatory. You can probably, you'll have to. I'm an intuitive reader. I don't necessarily go by every single thing that's on that card. I may draw the card and say the cups are emotion, but I may not feel the emotion attached to that. I may feel more of I don't know, so one of the other ones. I may feel something else, and then that's what I'm gonna say, because that's just the feeling I'm getting. I'm getting tired, y'all. I'm getting sleepy, huh? Starting to ramble. But yeah, that Rider-Waite is pretty. I mean, those cards are pretty easy to read, even for a beginner. And then it even comes with a book that explains you how to do it. But I don't even know how you could get a deck and practice with one if y'all are always around each other and he doesn't want you doing that sort of thing. I mean, how would you practice? Yeah, you definitely need to get your own house and uh, get you some herbs and some oils and start making your own infusions. And yeah, it'd be hard to, huh? See, how are you gonna practice? I mean, if you're wanting to be a witch, you're gonna have to practice. And don't get me wrong, not every witch reads cards. I didn't up until a couple of years ago. It's just some witches just don't care to. Some read tea leaves, you know, some read runes. Well, that's a bummer, Godiva, if you can't. I don't know how we're going to. Does he ever go anywhere? I mean, to where, you have a couple, a little while to yourself, or you could spread them out and look at them, at least look at them, look through the deck. I don't even know how you'd go anywhere to buy any without him knowing. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of forms of divination. Crystal balls. See, we got runes, crystal balls, mirrors, tarot cards, wax readings. Well, how are we going to get you practicing, little Missy? Y'all need to move to Oklahoma City, and then you need to drive down here, tell so-and-so that you're going to go stay with a friend for a couple of days, and we'll have a blast. You can't have a relationship like that when you're together 24/7. It doesn't work. Yep. Me earlier, do you mind if I explain a little bit of that to her? I won't tell her everything, Godiva, but can I kind of explain to her what we were talking about before? I mean, that's your business. If you'd rather me not say anything, I won't. Okay. Okay. Yeah, lady, earlier, we were talking about that, and because I did a card reading for her, and I could tell she was a little bit. She's having some issues right now to where she she's kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. I'll just put it that way. She's wanting to go one way, but not wanting to. She wants to better herself and be her, like, have her own life too, but then she's afraid of what her man will say. And they're together all the time, right there with each other. So she doesn't think that he will like it if she tells him that she's trying to study to be a witch. She's brand new at this. I'm telling you this, Lady Blindwolf, in case you don't know. Yeah. Oh, so you were there when we were talking about all that, huh? Well, I wouldn't say that it's toxic. I would say it's bonding. I mean, he's not mean to her or anything. He's not a bad influence. He takes care of her, but it's she wants to do something for herself, and she wants to learn the craft, and he just is not going to like that. Answer a few minutes ago, but no, you cannot be a. No, I know that would get old real quick. Even though you can love somebody and be, with them and idolize them, adore them, but everybody's got to have their own space, you know. Everybody, and she's still young enough right now that she could go on to school, And she needs to follow her own path, and that's what I told her, And even the cards told her that. But, she's just gonna have to make up her own mind. I mean, no matter what she decides, I'm gonna be her friend. I mean, we all make decisions, whether they are good or bad, or productive or not. We just, no, I mean, because he won't let her be her own person. That's toxic. Oh, well, yeah, right. Well, I think it's just like a touchy situation. She's pretty stuck on him. I mean, she loves him, but she's just not sure. And then, like I said, I told her that she's just gonna have to make that choice, one way or the other. I mean, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I want to see her, have her own life, her own world, create her own world. That's what witches are. We're creators. We create our own space, whether it be, if it's hell, it's because we have not done anything to try and change it. If it's not comfortable, change it, you know. And sometimes that's easier said than done. I, of all people, know that. Trust me when I say that. I know how you feel, Godiva. I really do. As I told you earlier, I really know how you feel. That's why I told her she needed to talk to him. Just be, the first thing you ought to be able to do in any relationship is be honest. If something's on your mind, say so. Because if you hold shit inside and you're suppressed, and as I told her, if she really has a calling to do this, it's not going to leave her alone. It's only going to get worse. She's going to have to acknowledge it and recognize it and do something about it, or it's just going to be nonstop. And as I said, something will happen that'll split them apart anyway. You watch. If that's really what she wants to do, and somebody has their eye, one of the goddesses or gods has their eye on her to work with her, they're going to get him out of that picture somehow. They always do. Especially if they know that he does not fit with her. Oh yeah, me too. Shoot. When I started, I don't even know. I've known I was a witch since I was 8. That's as far back as I can really remember. I remember talking to trees and having little parties with the trees and plants and my Barbie dolls when I was like 4. I do remember doing that. But I don't know. You sure didn't go around talking about it. Now I did I'd say a few things to my mother when I was about 5 that freaked her out. And she actually sent me to a psychiatrist when I was about 7. She thought I'd done lost my mind. Have other witches to connect with. I realized, yeah, it started when I was younger also, and I was doing things that I didn't even know were actually woodcrafts. Yeah, yeah. It's amazing how a lot of us are just kind of born that way. And most of us are born that way. It's just it may take a very long time for it to come out, before it surfaces. I don't know. But she's got a calling to do this, and you know, I mean, this path isn't for everyone. I assure you. I mean, it's really a hard path. If you stick with it, you stay on it. It's rewarding, but it's hard. I mean, some of the spells that you'll do, being around these gods and goddesses when they appear, they'll just drain you. You know, you become more empathic, and empathetic. You you are way more sensitive to everything around you. It's a really odd feeling when you experience it for the first time, and I think it happens so gradually that you don't realize how much you've changed, or should I say grown, until you compare where you are right now and where you were, 10 years before. Now that I have other, cowboy, do I really, oh boy, do I really struggle with the whole intuition tarot thing. Another thing that's important is confidence. At times, know that I doubt myself, and that's not the way to be. Right. And the one thing every witch needs to remember is we're not perfect. Even some of the most experienced witches, the older witches, we make mistakes. I even have some spells that didn't work, that won't work. And usually there's a reason for that. There's more in control of that spell. Once we do that spell, put it in the universe or give it to our gods or goddesses, whatever we do with it. And if it doesn't work, there's a damn good reason it doesn't. Something else is supposed to take place, and it will not honor that spell. So, very few times, honestly, have I had one that just blatantly would not work after I tried it and tried it and tried it. But then after, a little bit of time had passed, something else would happen, and then I realized why that one wouldn't work. You see what I'm saying? It's kind of like, thank God, like if per se, here I go with my metaphors again. It's like when you're young and you've got that first crush on that boy, and you're like, oh, I've got to have him. I'll do anything. Please let me have him. I love him so much. And he just don't want to be with you, or it just ain't, y'all don't won't even talk to each other or whatever. And you're all heartbroken. And then a couple of years later, you're going along with your life, and then you meet this guy, and poof, there's real true love, and you have a whole different adoration for this man. And you look back and you say, well, that's why that wouldn't work with him, because this is the one that was on his way. I just didn't know it at the time. See what I'm saying? You've all had them and they didn't work, or they completely backfire, or man, they are a lot stronger than, yeah. They will work. Yeah, that's true. Like I said, all you can do is do your best with that intent out there, and what the universe does with it is it will. It's what it does. That's why also when you're, and this is for Godiva, when you're saying that spell, you have to honestly be extremely careful how you word that spell. You have to have your words in order. I mean, you can go in there, and especially when you first start, I would definitely, like I said, some witches don't work with a god or goddess. Um, I don't see how. I just don't, but they do. Um, when you first go in there, like me, if I was brand new at this and went in front of Hecate, I could see her looking down at me or looking at me going, "What'd you just say?" But she knows, she knows that you're brand new, and she'll be patient with you. And she's my mother. She's like the one that if I do something wrong, yes, I'm gonna get the backlash from it. If I do something stupid, I'm gonna get the backlash from it. I mean, that's just how she is. She is the mother, and she will treat you like as such. If you're, I'm not saying she's gonna, hit you with a lightning bolt. No, none of that. But she'll make you understand that what you did was wrong, and you're gonna correct it. Hecate is one of the sternest goddesses that you could work with, um, but yet extremely loving, and she cares, but just like your own mother would, I love you, but I'm about to ground you, you know. National elements, spirit, animals, ancestors, yeah. And see, Godiva, there's just like that, just like Lady Blind Wolf, some people just say to the god and goddess. They don't necessarily call on one specific deity. That's what I'm telling you. And you can talk to me, listen to me, then you can pull up another witch on YouTube and she's gonna say something. She may say something totally different, but if you look at the overall picture, we're both coming from the same place, just have different beliefs. And that's fine. That's the freedom of this path. Everybody can believe and do how they want. Now, of course, unless if you decide you're gonna draw in the quarters, um, you don't look to the west and call on Earth, you know, or to the on water, you know, that is just not acceptable. That cannot be changed. So I don't know. Well, it was beautiful and wonderful talking to you girls. I'm so glad y'all came on here. And Godiva, keep in touch with me, okay? I'll help you as much as I can. I'll give you advice, but you'll have to do the work. And first of all, you're going to have to figure out a way to learn with if you're still going to continue to hide this from him. Be in the closet is what we call it, in the closet witch. But something that's important is to learn history too. I mean, history of witches and witchcraft to honor those. Right, right. And that's what, yeah, I meant to say that earlier and I got off on another tangent. Um, the first thing you can do, Godiva, which he won't know anything about. I mean, if y'all are just sitting in the room sometime, I don't know how you get on the internet if you're on a computer or your phone, but on whichever, surf the web. There is a lot of witches out there. There's documentaries. You need to. There's one on there right now. In fact, it popped on my screen on YouTube tonight. It's called The History, uh, or oh, what was that called? Anyway, the the legendary history of witches, or it tells all about the. You'll just have to search YouTube and look up witches. Just pop witches in, and I mean, you may have other witches that come up. or it would be even better to put in documentaries on witches, something like that. It'll tell you some of the history, because yes, you do need to know. I mean, everybody knows the witches were burned, or if they were truly witches, were burned. Some of them were, some of them probably weren't. Um, the witch hunts, the how the Malleus Maleficarum, who wrote that, and what it states. I have that book in there. I don't like the book being in my house because it was such a reminder of the heinous things that went on with witches. But it's part of history. It's a history book to me, and um, you'll come up on the Salem witch trials and uh, stuff like that. Learn the history of it and why there's so animosity towards us back in them days. And then you start learning your elements, what they stand for, what east is air, south is fire, west is water, north is earth. Learn those. Learn how to cast a circle. It doesn't mean you have to, but learn that. Um, Learn how to set up an altar. And I mean, they'll give you this is another thing. Your altar is your altar. You set it up how you want. Some people put all the elements on there. I don't do that. You'll find you just right now you just need to learn your basics. Like I said, I have other videos that you can go back and look at for the beginning witches. Okay. Because that's why I started this whole thing. I was going to try to teach the upcoming witches because I have so many people asking me so many of the same questions. I thought I might could help someone. But those right there is what you need to do first. Learn that. Then, you graduate and you can ask me questions along the way. You can read your books. Reading the books to me never got it because I still couldn't understand. Because like I said, I'd pick up one book and say one thing, another book would say another. Then I'd talk to people and they'd say another. This is what I'm saying. You're going to have to know who you are, what you resonate with, and it'll to do this to start out because I warn you, and it scares a lot of the new witches off. It's going to be rough going at first because it's going to seem so overwhelming, so much to learn and remember. But don't do that. Like I said, learn something here and there. But I'm telling you, some things are going to be so interesting to you that they're going to soak in easier, and you're going to learn quicker, and then you're going to learn more and more and more. Some will stump you. It's like learning anything else. But you can always ask me. Even I have an email. I don't think it shows up on all my videos, but it's the Crone, THECRONE 51 at gmail.com. You can email me there, ask me a question, and I'll answer it as soon as I see it. Okay. All right, girls. I guess I'm gonna get off here. I'm kind of getting tired too. I'm tired of talking. I just got that book along with the Necronomicon, and I haven't have yet to read them. Oh, the Malleus Maleficarum. Okay, cool. Good. I hope they help you. And like I said, if not, you can comment on any one of them, and it'll send me a notification. It'll or you can save your questions and ask me when I come back on. Like I said, I'm going to try to come on here every night again. I used to do that, and I just honestly sometimes I run out of things to say or talk about. Or subjects. I went through a plant thing and there's thousands and thousands of them. So I just went through the ones that I work with all the time and that I have at the house. If you don't hear things like it's your path, you do. Those are not what you do. You want to hear some are bullies and think that their way is the only way. Right. Okay. Good night, ladies. Love y'all. Blessed be. Take care. Bye-bye.